Hey everybody. I hope we're going live here. Let me see here. So first time I'm doing our Facebook Live through the computer as opposed to the phone. So just want to make sure that we are live here and wait a couple minutes for everybody to jump on. Yes, I think we're live. So hopefully you can see me and hear me okay. I wanted to share with you all a little bit about this week-long BOGO event that dōTERRA is doing, celebrating Thanksgiving, also saying thank you to so many customers, and they do this all week long, and each day is a different BOGO deal, and so we're so excited about it, and especially today in our house, the BOGO deal for today, my husband said, yes, we are definitely getting some of those BOGOs. So let me tell you a little bit about today's BOGO deal that dōTERRA is offering, and it is a buy one Douglas fir essential oil, and you get one free white fir essential oil. And so it's a buy one get one free. It's a limit of 5 per account. So it's a great way to get together. If you have your own wholesale member account, you can get together and save on shipping with the others. Use the economy shipping, and it's only $3.99. Even better yet, you can add it to your loyalty rewards program, and you can also get points back on your dōTERRA account for those. So the Douglas fir, it's a 5 milliliter bottle. So you can see a little difference here in the size of the bottles. The Douglas fir is a 5 milliliter bottle. It's about 85 drops. I don't know if you can see in here in the light, but we use ours pretty regularly. In fact, my husband panicked when we were almost out of this one day. I'll tell you a little bit more about that why, and when you hear more about the benefits of these oils, you'll see why. And then the white fir is a 15 milliliter bottle, which then contains about 250 drops. And you're using only 1 to 2 drops at a time, so these last quite a while, depending on what you're using it for and how often you're using it. So let's talk briefly science. For those of you who love science, you can eat this up. For those of you who are like, science, move me on. We'll only spend a few minutes here, but I want to talk a little bit about the chemistry of the Douglas fir. So it's really high in monoterpenes, and so and it's what's interesting is it combines something called beta-linen. I'm not sure how you say that, but it's the top constituent in your lime and your lemon essential oils, and with other monoterpenes that are usually more represented by wood essential oils, like your frankincense, your juniper berry, and your cypress. So it's kind of makes it unique in the aroma then, because it's woody, but yet it's also kind of got a lemon scent to it. So it's very uplifting and renewing, and it makes it work really well with any citrus oils, or your also any of your other wood oils. So it is steam distilled from the leaves and the branches of, sorry, just a minute. It is steam distilled from the leaves and the branches of the Douglas fir tree. So, and then also just a minute, while we're talking that it's a tree oil, it's actually usually grows natively throughout North America, and it's an evergreen. Christmas. Beginning to smell and look a lot like Christmas here. And so I'm going to show you here a little bit about, you can see a little bit more about the Douglas fir as I'm talking about it, but it's frequently used in the Christmas tree industry. And so, and dōTERRA's Douglas fir is very unique because it's sustainably sourced from the younger trees in New Zealand. What was happening in New Zealand is actually this species of Douglas fir tree was actually invading the country, and it was actually threatening to their ecosystem. And so by harvesting the younger Douglas fir trees and using for the essential oil, doTERRA is actually helping to combat some of the environmental aspects that they were having and the difficulties that they were having over there. So, and actually you can see more about that on doTERRA's YouTube channel. You can just go to YouTube and search doTERRA Douglas fir, and you can see a brief video about how that's all working. But and I mentioned that beta pinene that was in there. It's very helpful for clearing your airways. So so let's talk just for a minute about uses of Douglas fir. So you can use this oil aromatically, topically, and internally. And it goes really well with the citrus oils, like I mentioned, like maybe wild orange, lemon, bergamot, and the diffuser to freshen the air, uplift your mood, promote more of a sense of focus. You can also, since it is helpful for the skin, you can add a drop to your facial cleanser, a bar of soap or body wash. In fact, doTERRA has one of the body washes, and I think also the spa body scrub has the Douglas fir in it. So so you can actually get that in a couple of products as well. You can diffuse a couple of drops with eucalyptus to promote your opening up your airways and easier breathing. And then you can also add it to wintergreen for a relaxing massage. So now, if you want to combine it with let me take it so you can. We like to combine with fractionated coconut oil. Let me make sure you can see it here. There it is in the camera. Fractionated coconut oil. You can use, we prefer this just because it has a longer shelf life. It's great for the skin. It's odorless. And but you can use other carrier oils to combine it in case there's any sensitivity to the skin. Also, it helps to absorb into the skin more easily. And so, but you can use jojoba oil, almond oil, grapeseed oil, some of the others. But we just prefer the fractionated coconut oil. So before we talk a little bit about white fir, I want to mention the emotional benefits of Douglas fir as well. Now, you may, if you're new to essential oils, you may have not had any experience with or even have any knowledge maybe about the emotional benefits of essential oils. I assure you it is not hoo-ha or hocus pocus, which my science-minded brain wanted to think for a long time. But instead, when the purity of these oils, when they enter into the nose and reach the limbic system of the brain, it's a very fast way of affecting and creating a chemical change within the body and affecting the mood. And so Douglas fir, interestingly enough, is called the oil of generational wisdom. And so this is very helpful for tapping into the generational wisdom that has been passed down, knowledge when we're struggling to connect with our parents or grandparents, maybe seeing eye to eye. And as we're entering into the holiday season, we might be interacting more with those different generations. And so this is a great oil to be using during that time to maybe kind of release that distance or the blocks that you have. And let me actually just take a moment to introduce the white fir, because even though these are both from fir trees, they're very different. They have different chemical constituents, they have different properties, different uses, and they actually have a very different aroma. But there is some overlap in some uses in some cases. So, but since we're talking about emotional benefits, the white fir is called I'm trying to remember what the name of they call it with for emotions. Let me see here. Let me look on my notes. Let me look in my book, actually. Yeah, the oil of generational healing. So whereas in Douglas fir is the oil of generational wisdom, white fir is the oil in generational healing. So whenever there are some generational patterns that may be toxic, you know, some of those generational patterns that we pass down from family member to family member can be positive and helpful, but some of them can be negative and you know, in some instances be destructive or toxic. And so so we want to think about ways that we can address those. You know, maybe those are negative patterns of abuse, addiction, alcoholism, anger, eating disorders, pride. You know, I could go on. And hopefully we can recognize those and say the pattern stops with me. That cycle, that destructive pattern stops with me. And so these are some very useful oils to impact us in different ways when it comes to our generations and our family relationships. So, okay, let me go back. Let me see where we are here. With, let me see if there's anything else I wanted to share with you guys about Douglas fir. And I can't see any of your comments if you guys are on right now. So if you have any questions or anything, I'll try to go back after the broadcast and answer any questions that you might have. Let me go back and make sure I don't have anything else. Yeah, so any of your wood oils are going to go well with your Douglas fir. So think about your cedar wood, your frankincense, sandalwood, and then also your citrus oils will go really well with this if you're wanting to combine them or layer topically or using a diffuser. And I just want to make a note, just a minute, on quality. Okay, not all essential oils are created equal. And I know we're seeing them all over the market these days. And because there's a lack of industry standards and a lack of regulation on terms of such as what's natural and what's pure, much of what you find at the drugstore is not a therapeutic grade of essential oil, and many of them lack a real quality and real effectiveness, and many of them also contain contaminants or adulterants, and it's actually way more common than you think. And so a lot goes into creating a very high quality essential oil. And so when you're looking for a good brand of essential oils to purchase, you want to look for these guidelines, okay? So you want to look for specific plant varieties. So different species of plants, where they're sourced and things like that, will yield different constituents and chemically. So they will provide different benefits. You also want to look for where that they are growing each plant indigenously, because that's going to yield the healthiest plant and the most potent oil. Okay, you want to look for oils that have been from plants that have been grown without chemicals or herbicides and things like that. And you guys, it's common, very common. You want to look for oils that are being harvested at specific times in the day to ensure a peak property. You want to make sure that they're being extracted with the proper temperature and pressure to preserve the oil molecules. You want to look for a company who is third-party testing every single batch of oil, because it's very easy for the chemical constituents to change based on all these things that I've been mentioning. And then look for someone who stands behind their internal use of essential oils. Okay, so just a little side note about that. So let's go on to white fir. Okay, so let me see where my white fir is. And then actually, I'm going to go back to Douglas for one brief moment about emotional benefits. So I mentioned, the generational patterns. I'll share one story with you about our Douglas fir. So we use something in our home called Itovi, and there's a lot of science behind it, and I can't get into how it works right now, but it is a tool that we use in our home that helps us see which oils our body's responding best to. And there have been several instances where my son has done an iTovi scan, and this Douglas fir has popped up for him as an oil that he needs to be using and that his body's responding well to. And in that same day, my dad has also come to visit and scanned for that same oil. Now, knowing what you know now about this oil, can you see how that could be beneficial and how that would make sense? Why two family members would scan for that and have the same oils. And so there would needs to be some generational bonding happening, some connections happening there with that. And so they both just started using this aromatically as well as topically on the feet. And so that's just one way that we use it. My husband loves all the tree oils, but as I go into white fir, this was actually one of the very first oils that we were introduced to. So briefly, I'm going to mention just some of the chemistry, the science about it. Its main chemical components is limonene, and I'm probably butchering some of the science, but bupinene and boryl acetate. But it includes the monoterpenes, which give the essential oils the uplifting aroma. Okay, and this is what I typically think of when I smell it. I typically think of my Christmas tree. But it's referred to as the silver fir tree, and so it's got a very crisp, woody aroma. Okay, so in fact, I'm diffusing it right now. I'm diffusing the Douglas fir and the white fir. So it's very helpful in alleviating discomfort of sore muscles, joints. It's very supportive to clear breathing, so a little bit like the Douglas fir. And it's energizing to the body and the mind. And it's interesting because it is very helpful for energizing the mind, but yet it's a calmness. And my husband could probably explain it better because this is actually one of the first oils that he was introduced to. When we first started using oils, I would say this is probably his first success with essential oils, because he sees it helps him greatly with mental clarity. So I've already talked about some of the emotional benefits of using the white fir. So let me tell you a little bit about his story with this. So he has sought out some mental clarity, and when we were first starting using essential oils, and he started out by trying a blend called In Tune, which is a focus blend on the back of his neck and on his feet for work and just at home. And he didn't see a whole lot of benefit, and he would come home from work and I would ask him, is it helping you? Is it, how's it going? And it was interesting because we did another similar bioimpedance scan, similar to the iTovi, and the white fir came up for him, as well as the balanced grounding blend. And it didn't make much sense to us until we started reading about the properties of white fir and the benefits. And something jumped out at me when it talked about the mental clarity. And I thought, this might be for him. And so he started diffusing the white fir and the balanced grounding blend, which also contains a lot of tree oils. He started using those, and within a few days, he said, I noticed that he seemed to be on the ball at home. And then at work, his coworkers were saying, wow, Jim, you really seem to be like with it. And not that he's totally scattered, but it helped him just regroup and gain more focus. So you can also apply your muscles and joints during the winter time. You can diffuse this to promote clear breathing. You can use this to help with when you're having the mental fatigue at work. And some oils that go well with white fir are peppermint, spearmint, wintergreen. And then it also blends well with some of the warm and spicy oils like cinnamon or ginger. So I have so much more to share about these two oils. And we're going to, and some recipes and things that you can use them for. And so we're sharing all of that in a private Facebook group that we've created called BOGO Bonanza. So if you would like to join in on that and get some more information about these oils and the rest of the BOGO deals for the week, comment below and you can be added to that group. You may be already working with someone, another wellness advocate that is already running a group. If so, get in on their groups, connect with them, and so that you can learn more about these great deals. If you don't already have your own oils, or you're looking for a way to order them, connect with the person who has been introducing you to essential oils, or you can connect with us below by commenting below, and we have a specific order form that we're using and doing some giveaways for those that participate in it with us. So let me show you some ways that you can connect with us. And did I show you guys the white fur slide? I may have not. So let me show that to you real quick, because you can use this one also aromatically, topically, and internally. And I'll let you be able to see those so that in case you want to take a screenshot or anything, you can have the picture of that oil too. But also, let me show you just some ways that you can connect with us. We have a website called 3lifeessentials.com. You can connect with us here on Facebook, on our brand page at 3Life Essentials. You can connect us via email. We are not on Periscope much anymore, but we are on Instagram, and so you can connect with us those places as well. So I hope you guys have a great day. Happy BOGOing.